The hall is silent, yet beneath that silence pulses the weight of untold stories, vibrating in the very air, as though every soul present carries a secret wound like a hidden relic. I stand before you not as saint nor prophet, but as a reflection of what you have endured, what you have already become. Even if you have not yet found the words to name it, you who call yourself broken, you who whisper empath as though it is at once curse and crown, tonight I will reveal why the world required your wound, why the darkness you survived carved within you a rare power, why you tremble before your own shadow, and why such trembling is itself the mark of your initiation. Let us begin not in light, but in the cavern of night where so many of you once lived. A broken empath is not merely one who feels deeply. Feeling alone is not what breaks you. What shatters you is the clash between your soul's delicate openness and the world's merciless indifference. It is when your heart, shaped to absorb and to carry, collides with betrayal, neglect, abandonment, or cruelty, and the fracture that follows is not only psychological. It is archetypal. It is the ageless tale of the wounded healer, of Chiron who limps eternally, yet teaches the universe medicine. You are not broken because you feel, you are broken because you bore far too much without a sacred vessel to contain it. And yet the crack itself became the doorway for a deeper current. Many of you have tried to escape this sensitivity. You have worn masks of strength, masks of untouchability, masks of invulnerability. Yet each mask betrayed you. For the empath is not a mask at all, but a wound shining with its own light. Do you see? The wound itself is temple. The scar itself is scripture. The trembling is not weakness, it is initiation. The one who has returned from the underworld no longer needs to pretend to be whole. For wholeness is not perfection. Wholeness is the reconciliation of fragments. The empath broken by shadow carries in their chest the union of love with terror, hope with despair, life with death. That is why your presence magnetizes the suffering, for you are proof that the abyss can be survived. But let us go deeper. To survive darkness is not only to crawl from it, but to integrate its voice. Imagine the dream: you wander a forest at midnight, terrified, and stumble on a wolf. The wolf growls, eyes lit by primal hunger. You shake, believing you will be devoured. Yet the wolf waits. You wake trembling, yet know the wolf is not only predator, but your own instinct, your own raw soul banished while you played martyr. This is the secret the empath learns in brokenness, that compassion is incomplete without the wolf, that love itself becomes distorted, enslaving, when it denies the untamed force of shadow. To awaken as broken empath is to reclaim the wolf, to let the growl live with the tenderness, to feel not only others' sorrow but also the fire of your own boundaries. From this emerges rare power. Presence that does not collapse when the room sinks into grief, capacity to sit with the suicidal, the abandoned, and not erase their pain but hold it as sacred fire. For you have sat in that fire yourself. You have been abandoned, cast upon despair's shore. And when you returned, the flames did not vanish, they settled inside, becoming a lamp. This is why others confess secrets to you. Not because you are simply kind, but because your soul has already held their nightmare. Thus they trust you, though they may not know why. The broken empath then awakens the wounded healer, not as sentimentality, but as embodiment. Healing is not fixing. Healing is being. You need not mend another soul, you need only embody the truth that brokenness can be a doorway, darkness an initiation, despair a womb of vision. Yet to reach this, you must abandon the illusion that you are only light. You must walk beside your shadow, or else your empathy remains hunger, rescuing endlessly to feel worthy. Think of the flood dream, waters rising, sweeping away lives, memories, homes. You cling to a branch until your arms ache. At last you release, and instead of death, the waters carry you to new ground. This is the empath's path, surrender to the archetypal flood that dissolves not only illusions but compulsions. You are no longer only the sponge absorbing others' pain, you are channel of river, turning flood into wisdom, art, prophecy, presence. The rare gift is not endless feeling, but transmuting feeling into meaning. In surviving darkness, you became bridge between conscious and unconscious, human and archetypal. Most flee from the unconscious, fearing its chaos. But you lived there. You know the abyss. You understand the tongue of symbols. When another dreams of falling, you know that fall. When one feels death inside, you know death as doorway. The empath broken is not merely sensitive, they are shamanic. They bear the underworld map carved in bone. But beware, the gift holds danger. Many empaths stay trapped in the wound, mistaking pain for identity, attracting abusers, parasites, narcissists who sense their softness and lack of boundaries. Unless the empath awakens shadow, they confuse destruction with compassion. To claim the rare power, you must release addiction to suffering, cease defining yourself by how much you can carry. True compassion is fierce, it says yes and no with equal reverence. The awakened empath no longer rescues compulsively. They guard their temple. In doing so, their love expands rather than dissipates. The archetype of the broken vessel speaks, in alchemy comes mortificatio, the dissolution, the rot. Only by that decay can matter be transmuted to gold. Your brokenness was your mortificatio. You were shattered that the old identity might die, and in that decay the seed of self was planted. Douc. Your suffering was alchemical operation. You burned in the crucible, and now emerges not the naive empath, but the transmuted one. Whose sensitivity is wisdom, whose fragility is depth. So when you ask why you survived, what purpose your darkness held, I tell you, you survived to become mirror for humanity's wound. You survived to embody the truth that empathy without shadow is enslavement, but empathy with shadow is liberation. You survived to awaken presence that heals not by words but by being. This is not philosophy, it is initiation. Each of you who sit here broken already carry the seed. The question is whether you will water it with awareness or bury it with fear. Now feel this truth, the fracture you cursed is doorway to wholeness, the tears the river that carried you, the abyss the ground you now walk upon. The rare power was never outside. It already stirs in your marrow. It is the wolf in dream, the flood that bore you, the fire that scorched you. Claim it. Cease fleeing. Realize, you were never simply empath. You were always healer, bridge, vessel of transmutation, broken open, not broken apart. Do not imagine your breaking was personal accident, irrelevant to the whole. It was collective drama enacted through you. Humanity itself is broken, divided between shadow and light, cruelty and ideals. The empath becomes vessel where this fracture reveals itself most painfully. You carry not only personal grief but the hidden sorrow of generations. That is why you feel too much, more than words explain. You are porous, yes, but more. You mirror the collective unconscious. Your suffering reflects humanity's secret war. In this unbearable role lies your rarest gift. While others deny, repress, project, you feel. When cruelty strikes, you cannot dismiss it. When love withdraws, you cannot numb. You must live abandonment, shame, longing fully. And through this, your soul becomes chalice, dark and heavy, able to contain what the collective hides. That chalice becomes vessel of transformation. This is why you were told you are too sensitive, too much, too fragile, because you bear the unbearable for the world. And you ask, why must I suffer so? I answer, archetypal roles are never chosen by preference. The wounded healer does not volunteer. They are seized, thrust into underworld, so that in surviving, they may guide. You did not choose to break. Darkness broke you. But now you choose, remain shattered, or let the fracture open into gateway. To cling to victimhood is stagnation. To accept the archetypal role is awakening. You cannot erase the past, but you can transmute it into meaning. Consider the phoenix, it does not merely endure fire. It becomes fire. So must the broken empath. The flames that consumed must now radiate as illumination. This is the rare power, to embody paradox. Fragile yet indestructible. Tender yet fierce. Compassionate yet discerning. Able to walk beside grief without drowning, to sit with rage without being devoured, to find silence luminous. This cannot be taught, it is birthed only in crucible of suffering. But what of the shadow? Many empaths cling to an image of endless goodness, endless giving. You tell yourself, if I am kind enough, love enough, I will not be abandoned. So you pour yourself out, mistaking martyrdom for love. Yet the shadow grows, appearing in resentment, hidden rage, compulsive bonds with those who wound you. Until you integrate it, you remain enslaved. Awakening means admitting you are both healer and destroyer, comforter and wolf. In admitting, you are freed. It is not evil to know the wolf within, it is evil only to repress it. For then it devours you unseen. The empath who integrates shadow becomes whole. They need not save every soul. They can say no with grace, yes without fear. They can love without dissolving, witness pain without drowning. Their compassion is authentic, for it is no longer disguise for need, but radiance of union. This is rare power, to stand in storm and remain centered, to hold suffering without mistaking it as your own. Imagine the ruined cathedral, shattered windows, broken altar, dust on sacred ground. You weep at the ruin. Yet light pierces broken glass, and suddenly the ruin glows with haunting beauty. You realize the temple was meant to be broken open, that light might enter where walls once sealed. This is your soul. Brokenness became aperture for divine presence. Your empathy, scarred, allows you to see beauty in ruins, wholeness in fragments. But beware, the trap of endless sacrifice. Many empaths remain imprisoned in victim-savior cycle, drawn compulsively to exploiters, mistaking abuse for love. Why? Because the psyche repeats the wound until it is integrated. You are drawn not from foolishness but from unconscious longing to complete the story. But if awakened, you need not repeat. You can see, name, and walk away. You need not bleed endlessly. Your wound was never meant to enslave, but to liberate. So I ask, when will you stop calling yourself merely broken? When will you claim broken open, not broken apart? When will you cease to deny shadow and instead let love be strengthened by it? When will you realize that survival itself proves your power? If darkness meant to destroy you, it failed. You are here, breathing, that is no small victory. That is flame unextinguished. And now the secret, the broken empath's rare power is not simply to feel. It is to midwife the birth of another soul. When despair approaches, you do not rescue. You do not erase. You stand as midwife by the woman in labor, knowing cries are sacred, contractions necessary, reminding them life is being born. Only one who has endured labor can do this. Your survival is not ending, it is beginning of vocation. You are called not only to live but to witness, to embody. Your tears became holy water. Your nightmares became maps. Your silence became gestation. Now, rising from ashes, you carry the treasure, wisdom of survival, strength of integration. Radiance of broken wholeness. You must see, your survival was not mere endurance. It was metamorphosis. The empath after darkness is not the same as the one before. Innocence is gone. In its place grows paradox, wisdom rooted in shadow and light. This is your rarity, most flee paradox, but you have lived it. You know how to cradle joy and grief together, how to hold opposites without splitting. You know light without shadow blinds, shadow without light suffocates. You have known both. Thus your heart widens to hold existence itself. In daily life this means, you are no longer destroyed by depth. Once you drowned in others' grief, mistaking it for your own. Now, with shadow integrated, you float. You resonate, but you do not drown. You are oak in storm, roots deep. That rootedness comes from abyss survival. Others feel it, they sense you hold a secret. The secret, you befriended darkness instead of fleeing. And here lies alchemical truth: the broken empath becomes vessel not only for individuals but collective psyche. In standing whole, you shift humanity's field. Each time you refuse victimhood, each time you honor shadow as sacred, you heal fragments of the human wound. Your survival is cosmic act. The wounded healer is not only personal, it is collective redemption. Imagine the battlefield dream: corpses around, smoke rising, silence. You weep, certain all is lost. Yet one flame flickers. You hold it, guard it. It grows until battlefield transforms to green fields. This is the empath's dream: amidst devastation, flame unextinguished. That flame is not denial, but knowing, born of survival, that darkness is not absolute, death not final. This is rarest power, hope proven in fire. Yet awakening demands vigilance. If wielded unconsciously, you may fall again into patterns: empathy as enmeshment, compassion as codependency, love as self-erasure. The old wound whispers always. But now you can hear without obeying. You can say, I am not here to be consumed, I am here to carry light. And so you reclaim your soul. The empath's brokenness hides longing to be seen. You gave endlessly, hoping someone would notice, cherish you. When they did not, you shattered. But in awakening you learn, you were always meant to see yourself, to cradle your own wound, to hold your own soul. The rare power is not others validating you, it is you validating yourself. This is individuation, union of self with self, reconciliation of conscious wound with unconscious wholeness. When you see yourself without denial, manipulation ends. Abusers lose their grip. Parasites their hooks. For control depends on your shame. When you no longer hide, you are free. And freedom is the gift of the awakened empath. You were once enslaved by longing. Now you are liberated by integration. So again, imagine the mirror, cracked, jagged. You always hated its distortion. Yet tonight you gaze anew. Each crack reveals a different self: the child, the lover, the victim, the survivor, the wolf, the healer. All are you. The cracks do not distort, they reveal. They show you are not singular but constellation, infinite. The mirror is not enemy but sacred map. You bow, for it has revealed truth: you were never broken, only multifaceted. This is rare power, to live as paradox, wound and healer, light and shadow, death and rebirth. To be cathedral shattered yet glowing, vessel cracked yet overflowing. To be empath who survived, carrying not fragility but indestructible flame. And now, as we close, we enter the mystery. For all, the wound, the shadow, the flame, these were steps toward greater truth. The rare power is not only archetypal, but spiritual. In descending and returning, you touched the eternal. You felt unseen hands guiding you through labyrinth. You know now, the soul cannot be destroyed. This alters all. You once feared fragility, thought, I am too sensitive to survive. Now you see sensitivity is not weakness, it is antenna, tuning you to the music beneath noise, the divine voice beneath chaos. Your fracture tuned this instrument. Through it, spirit plays symphony. What you called curse was initiation into cosmic participation. The empath who survives becomes threshold being, standing between worlds, carrying messages of unconscious into waking. Yet you must honor it as sacred. Do not scatter your gift into unworthy hands. This is not arrogance, but alignment. You are no longer desperate for love, for you know love dwells within. You are no longer consumed by wound, for the wound became teacher. You are no longer devoured by darkness, for darkness is now companion. From this, your power flows naturally. Like the moon, you may shine not with your own light, but by reflection. Yet when night is darkest, it is the moon that guides. So too with you. Reflection is power. To mirror presence, to embody survival, this awakens others. They see you luminous in brokenness and remember survival is possible. But you must ground this gift. Without grounding, it scatters like lightning with no conductor. Root yourself in body, in ritual, in breath, in creation. Give your empathy form, art, words, song, stillness. Without this, fire consumes. With this, it sustains. And remember, your awakening is not for you alone. You walk in lineage of mystics, prophets, healers, artists, souls broken by too much feeling who transmuted it into vision. They walked before. Others will walk after. Your scars will be their compass. Your survival their map. Thus the circle continues. So I ask you, as you leave, will you still call yourself broken, or awakened? Will you remain prisoner of wound, or become its prophet? Will you fear shadow, or embrace it as ally? Choice is yours. But know, once you honor your wound as initiation, everything changes. Darkness becomes teacher. Sensitivity becomes strength. And rare power rises, not as thunder, but as quiet indestructible presence of one who walked through fire and returned with flame. In closing, know this, you are not here to escape pain, but to transmute it. Not here to be unbroken, but broken open. Not here to numb the world, but to feel it so deeply that your presence heals. And when voices tell you you are too much, too fragile, too broken, remember, the rare power of the broken empath is not fragility, it is indestructibility disguised as sensitivity. You are here still. That is proof enough. Walk forth not as victim nor savior, but as cathedral and ruin, moon and flame, shadow and light, as awakened empath, broken yet whole, fragile yet indestructible, wounded yet luminous. And wherever you walk, let your presence remind the world, even in abyss, the flame endures. Even in ruins, the soul survives. Even in brokenness, there is power rare, fierce, sacred, eternal.